No problem. So for the October 24th, 2023 Conservation Commission meeting, I will call the roll. Commissioner Collins,
Here.
Commissioner Martinez,
Here.
Commissioner Alminas,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Fred?
Here.
okay.
Yep. Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Ryan,
Francis?
Here. I didn't hear that name. Thank you.
There was a little static. I thought you might have missed it.
okay,
Oh.
and Commissioner Bongiorni.
Here.
There we go. Okay. So first item is a request for a determination of applicability for geotechnical borings for the replacement of a high-pressure fluid-filled underground transmission line for subsurface crossing of the north branch of the Mill River. And Eversource Energy, of course, is the applicant. And who do we have to present for us tonight?
That is me, Melissa Cody from Ty and Bond on behalf of Eversource.
Okay, go ahead, Melissa.
And may I share my screen?
Sure, please do.
Thank you. All right. All right. Can you all see the topographic map?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. All right. So Eversource has an underground transmission line that originates at the Breckwood substation, which is just off of Wilbraham Road, south of Breckwood, Breckwood Lake and Breckwood Park. The existing alignment traverses the dam that is essentially Breckwood Boulevard, and then continues northwesterly until it reaches the East Springfield substation off of Rose Street on the north side of 291.
May I inquire about a few other streets so we can get our bearing?
Sure. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because that might help. The area we're talking about, so this actually the topo map shows the substation. There's a couple shopping plazas here. So Breckwood Park is here along the, this is an impoundment on the north branch of the Mill River. Boston Road is up here. Is this helpful?
Fran,
Thank
the
you very much.
substation is right by the driveway that goes into Western New England,
Yes.
Duggan Junior High. There's an electric substation there.
Thank you very much.
They've been doing various projects at this substation over the past couple of years. I don't know if anyone's noticed construction there.
Yes.
And what, I don't know when it happened, but whenever it happened, this area here on the topo map that shows as a wetland is a parking lot now.
Yeah.
So that happened at some point in time. Breckwood Boulevard from the intersection with Bradley Road and Wilbraham Road extends northerly and is essentially built on top of the dam that creates this impoundment. When the existing line 1322 underground utility was constructed, it was constructed in a small diameter conduit that essentially you can see in the culvert within the dam that conveys the river from the impoundment to the downstream side. For a variety of reasons, it is not desirable to reconstruct an underground utility through a dam. The team is evaluating alternative routes, including a crossing at North Branch Parkway at the upstream end of the impoundment and the park area. Again, this will be an underground transmission main, so that they're evaluating the feasibility of a horizontal directional drill to cross the river here so that there would be no open trench work at that crossing. And in order to do so, they desire to advance 3 geotechnical borings in the roadway And I'm gonna go to the next figure because it's an aerial and it's a little easier to get a feel for things. So the 3 borings are essentially on the south side of the existing roadway. There are areas of, excuse me, bordering land, it happens to us all. Tie and bond delineated wetland resource areas on either side of the roadway. There's also bordering land subject to flooding, which does appear based on elevations to theoretically overtop the road. So 2 of the borings are within those limits. So the activities which would typically be exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act are not because of that conservative estimation of bordering land subject to flooding. These again are in the roadway, so it will not increase the footprint of disturbance within jurisdictional areas. As well as, so it's also within the buffer zone, and 1 is just at the edge of the 25-foot riverfront area.
Are they actually in the roadway or are they in the right of way?
They're in the roadway.
Okay.
This is a terrible aerial photo, which is why we tried to use the other one, but they're along the edge of the roadway. They will not be in the bridge or bridge abutments. There's a bridge that spans the river at this location.
Okay.
So this is essentially, this is where the bridge crossing is. Borings are adjacent to the sidewalk on this side of things. So it's all paved. The borings are about, based on the exterior diameter, up to 9-inch diameter auger hole. 2 of the 3 borings will be completed as finished as groundwater monitoring wells to understand the hydrology, the groundwater hydrology in the area, relative to designing the horizontal directional drill. But you know, it's essentially a couple days of work, 2 to 3 days of work to do these.
And
And
there's the spoils are just whatever's brought up by the auger?
Correct. So what can be returned to the borehole will be, and what can't be will be drummed up and taken off site because there's nowhere to put it, regardless of its makeup.
Okay.
And you say that the boring holes are 9 inches out across or?
Yep, diameter.
Diameter.
You classify this as a, what's the word? A regeneration, a renewal, I lost the word.
Replacement?
Is this an upgrade for delivery?
They're not changing the replacement project is not going to change the voltage of the transmission line. It's 115 kV. The existing one is 115 kV. The replacement will be 115 kV. It just is most likely that it will not be able to follow the exact same alignment because of the complexities of constructing through a dam. The city owns the dam. I think it is, my understanding is that it is strongly preferred that the replacement not be constructed through the dam. We've discussed alternatives about going overhead or underground in that vicinity. It's more complicated there because the impoundment on one side, the wetlands and impoundment on the other. Article 97 relative to public parkland, whether it's an aerial or an underground utility. So not to mention, it's best to not put utilities through dams in general.
Did
There-
you discuss the distance from the dam?
Sure, I can go back to the map and show you. So the dam is here, essentially.
Yep.
And the borings are proposed up here.
Oh,
So
I thought they were close. Thank you.
it's not, it's no, it's there's no dam at this location. We're quite a distance from it.
There's just a crossing of the stream for the roadway, that's all.
Correct. And the goal is to keep the utility in the roadway to the extent practicable. And in order to do that at this location, that would mean a horizontal directional drill or a jack and bore or some underground kind of quote unquote trenchless technology. There will be, ultimately, the design will have to have a place for them to start it and a place for them to end it, but the goal is to avoid any direct impacts to the stream and adjacent wetlands.
Questions from commissioners? Were there questions from DEP on this? Melissa?
I don't believe so, but I did see Mark Stinson was in attendance.
Okay, I didn't see any either. But I just want to make sure they were answered if there were.
Certainly.
Okay, are there any other questions from commissioners? Hearing none, and the fact that we're in Zoom, we would have to continue this to the next meeting. So a motion to continue to the next meeting. This allows time for public input, which the public, anybody who's listening who wants to give input, can provide input by either phone message at Alvin?
Yes. You're looking for, so.
The
okay,
phone
so-
number to leave a message?
Yeah, phone number, 413-787-6020. You can also, email Allen, so that's AALLEN @springfieldcityhall.com.
Thank you, Alvin.
Before we do anything, is Mark have anything to say about this? Is he here for that? Are you here for that, Mark?
Hey, Juanita, no, I'm just, it's been a long time since I've seen you guys. I just decided to, attend your meeting. I saw it on the agenda. I was worried that typically when you do a directional boring, you need a frac out plan, but you don't need one for this because they're just doing drilling to test. So I have nothing on this.
Okay,
I
because
just
this
want to
was
say
just,
hi.
oh, well, it's nice to see you, Mark.
Hi.
This was just the borings in order for them to prepare their plan. So
Right.
there would be a further filing, an actual notice of intent when they come ready to do the work. Okay, so we will, this will be on the next agenda for a vote, but we need to continue to allow time for public input. So does someone want to make the motion to continue to the next meeting, please?
I'll make a motion. We continue to the next meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Alvin, if you'd call the roll?
Yes, for a continuance to the next meeting, November 14th. Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes,
Commissioner Alminas,
Yes,
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes,
and Commissioner Bongiorni.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
See you on the 14th.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item is a request to amend an existing order of conditions issued in January of 23 for proposed Elaine Circle Extension subdivision.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Great. My name is Philippe Cravo of Arlevec Associates, and I'm here tonight to present the amendment to the order of conditions. And I can kind of run through, it's probably been a while since the commission has seen this in front of them, so just kind of give you a little bit of background before we show you what exactly is being currently proposed. So if I could share my screen. I can, here we go. Okay. So you should be looking at a plan right now.
Yep.
So this is the originally proposed definitive subdivision layout that was approved and what the order of conditions references currently. So the property is located adjacent to the Elaine Circle subdivision, which is in between Leach Street and Boston Road. I can pull up a map to give you a better idea of where this is going here. So just for reference, it's this currently vegetated parcel here. Elaine Circle is, that's subdivision, makes this sort of horseshoe shape. Boston Road to the east, Leach Street also kind of to the east, Boston Road to the southeast, and then commercial property to the west. So just that as a reference, this is that property. So this property has 3 isolated vegetated wetlands. So all of these wetlands are jurisdictional through the local Conservation Commission bylaw, the Springfield Conservation Commission bylaw. What was being previously proposed was a subdivision road through the site, the filling of an isolated wetland here, and the replication of that filling adjacent to a wetland here. Now, since this order of conditions was issued, we were required to file a 401 water quality certification. That certification was, took a while. We went through the process, and part of that process was to develop an alternatives analysis. And what was discovered in conjunction with the Mass DEP review of the 401 water quality cert was a layout of the site that avoided the filling of this wetland and the replication of this wetland, which is what we have to present here tonight or this afternoon. So this was the previous layout, just so we could see. So this wetland here. Now, currently,
Now, just a question before you get started into what you're proposing.
Sure.
Doesn't the order of conditions say that it is subject to the issuance of all, and if anything isn't issued, the order is null and void? Shouldn't you be starting all over again, is my question. Not an amendment.
That I can follow up with Ryan Nelson, the preparer of the application, but in my discussions with him, I guess it's his thought that we could do this under an amendment.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that I agree with them, because the order does say right within it that it was subject to the issuance of a water quality certification. And that order, and that was not given. So that null and voids the order.
Okay, so an amendment would not be an option, is what you're saying?
And unless we have our circuit rider on, unless you have a different opinion than I do, it's kind of fortuitous that you're on.
Yeah.
I can't answer, Chris, because it pertains to your ordinance, which I can't talk about.
Well, it's that part of the language comes from the standard state order, where it says the order of conditions is subject to the issuance of all others, including the water cert. That language
that's a general condition, but it doesn't void it. I mean, we do have the amended orders policy that allows the commission to determine whether or not a new notice of intent is required or not.
Right.
or whether it's a minor plan change. And that's totally at the discretion of the Conservation Commission.
Okay, so let's, everybody take a look at this one that's in front of you and the plan that he's going to put up next. And let's first
Right.
discussion before he discusses the plan, is this, would this constitute a minor change or a major change between the
Right.
two plans, I guess?
So I think all right, okay, so, current layout, the through road with impacting this wetland here, but staying outside the 50-foot here, and obviously the wetland replication, but other than that, staying outside the 50. And on this layout here, it's generally the same alignment of the road until this point here where it turned up towards Leach Street. We are, we angled, we curved down to avoid the filling of this isolated wetland here. So I guess one thing to keep in mind is that this isolated wetland here is the result of just stockpiling of material associated with, I believe it was going to be a church, but there was a foundation built on this property here. And when they were doing that, they sort of filled in this, they just kind of stockpiled material here and made a localized low point, which is what's driving this sort of low area, wet area here. So just something to keep in mind in regard to that
Right.
small isolated wetland. But
When you
So-
were explaining the first plan, you said that all of the structures in the old plan were outside the 50-foot buffer zone. Is that correct?
other than the filling, well, so let's go
Other
back.
than the creation of the wetland, all of the building lots and the structures were outside the 50-foot buffer zone.
Other than the filling, correct.
Correct.
Oh,
And
so
on the new plan, how many structures are within the 50-foot buffer zone?
So there would be lots 5, 6, and 7, which are adjacent to that isolated wetland that was being filled under the previous plan.
And over here, you put in some more next to is that outside the 50? Way over
Oh.
to the left of those
Over here,
houses?
yes, this is all outside the 50. So this line here, I can zoom in. There is a line here that represents the 50-foot buffer. And, the basin was shaped around it. The structure would be outside of it. And these are just sort of placeholders. These are just blocks. These are not specifically the structures that will be built on this property. So these are just blocks as placeholders to show what a development could potentially be on these properties.
Well, yeah, basically, if you're looking at that lot 17, you put it where you've got the room.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Now, the 50-foot buffer,
Lot
as we
16
slide,
would be a question.
uh,
The 50-foot for the lot 16 is over here.
and this is at this next to, adjacent to 16, between 16 and 17, that's a detention basin?
Correct, yes. Totally located outside the 50.
Okay. But it's not, some people might be looking at that, thinking that, and I just want to clarify that that's actually a detention basin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, no problem.
So the
Correct,
ones
so-
that are either bumping up or right in you've got all the ones over here, lot 6, 7,
5,
5, 6, 7
yes,
are all within the 50.
correct. So the 50 is represented by this line here. And we were, I guess the thought was that it, in order to provide a lesser impact to this isolated wetland, so versus filling in the wetland, we could, if we could work within the 50, we would avoid the direct impacts to that wetland. And when we say wetland, we really have to keep in mind that this is just a localized, local low point that's kind of been trapped by those construction stockpiles there.
I guess I'm having a lot of trouble with the statement that less building a structure within 50 is less impact than not building one. Because there weren't any within the 50-foot before. The fact that you're leaving the wetland is there because you were told under water quality you had to. Adding additional lots within the 50, and I think Phil Dromey told me that he had conversations about that. He didn't think that that was something the commission would entertain. So I'm surprised to see it brought forward as an amendment. And it's up to the commission at this point in time to whether they consider that this plan, as opposed to the first plan, whether it is a minor change or a major change. If it's a major change, then it should have a whole new filing. And quite honestly, the commission has been steadfast about allowing structures within the 50-foot unless there's some way to prove that it actually enhances the area. So it's up to the commission whether you consider this a minor or a major change. If it's not a minor change to the original plan, then it should be starting at the beginning with a whole new notice of intent, not an
Bill, I have
amendment.
a further question on that.
Pardon me?
I have a further question on that. I
Sure,
would
go
like
ahead.
assurance, yeah. Wetlands that nature is now set, I guess we could call this a man-made wetland. I want some assurance on how far it is from the north, the waterways, the north branch, our previous presenter. Help me out. What street was she on?
I think Brentwood,
I-
I think she was.
I
on
think we,
Brentwood.
we,
She was on
we need to look at groundwater
Berkeley, Berkeley.
and nature. So,
Yeah, we have test pits, so we've done test pits and groundwater in this area is relatively deep. This wetland is just being perched by a topsoil layer of construction, just like an impermeable layer that was spread in this area. That was part of the foundation construction or sort of reworking of this area during that construction period, back whenever that was in the early 2000s. I tried chasing it
But what
back.
it did do is cause a wetland to be created, even though it's isolated.
Correct, on a perch, like a perched surface water. I just wanted to give you some reference here. So this, I don't know if you can see this. This is just a website that shows some historical views of the area. And this is this area, because this area has been, entirely cleared at various periods in the history of the site there. So this is that foundation. You can kind of see that standing water that was created there. But if you go back in time, back through the years, it's been cleared and worked, and whoever's been owned this property has utilized it for various different uses throughout the years, dating back to the early 2000s.
I get, okay, but I understand that it has been reworked land. I guess what I'm asking the commission to tell me their opinion on right now is whether this is a minor change or not. If in the commission's opinion, it's not a minor change, then it should not be entertained as an amendment to an order of conditions. So I'd like to know how.
Can we go back
Well,
to? Rich-
The
can we go-
fact that there are 3 houses involved, right? There
Yeah,
are 3
I'd like to see
lots
the-
that are involved.
See
It
the old
it
plan one more
it isn't a
time.
minor change.
You want, someone asked to see the old plan, did they?
Yep.
Yeah, because I did, Clarence.
There you are. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't look anything similar to what we're looking
No.
at on the other. So
not at all.
I say it's not a minor.
Yeah, my concern with this new
Minor.
plan. Go ahead.
Well, it's the new plan. Let's just get the first issue answered. Is Alvin, would you go poll the commission by name as to whether they believe it's a minor change or not.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Bonjorni for whether or not it's a minor change.
I would say it's not a minor change.
Okay. Commissioner Ryan,
Not a major change.
Not
Not
a
a minor.
major or not a minor?
Not minor, sorry.
Okay.
Commissioner Jones,
Not minor.
okay. Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Miller,
Sorry,
Fred?
before I answer, can I have the original and then right behind it, the second one?
Sure.
Sure, the original. Now, just to keep in mind, the subdivision layout is changed. The impacts are from filling the wetland to the buffer zone. So that's the previous one. And then right next to it, it's a different scale, but
So it drops off a little.
correct. So what was previously going right through the wetland drops, kind of between the two wetlands versus going through that one.
Okay. And doing that will cause another wetland or will not?
No, that wetland would remain there, Fred. That
Okay.
when they did the water quality, they said not to remove that wetland, to leave it there.
Yeah, my opinion, it's a minor change.
It's a minor change?
Yes.
Okay.
okay. Commissioner Alminas,
I would say it's a major change.
Commissioner Martinez,
A major change.
and Commissioner Collins.
I will also say it's a major change because there are, and I'll give you my reasoning is there are three structures within the 50-foot, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 more where they're right up to the edge of the 50-foot with no backyard. And that's an issue that this commission has had before where it leads to people going into the 50-foot. So, and in the first filing, there were no structures within any 50-foot buffer zone. So the fact that there are now structures within and structures right up basically to the edge of the 50-foot, in my opinion, is a major change. And this should be a new filing.
Yeah, the density of housing is overwhelming.
It's similar, the housing would be similar to the existing Elaine Circle.
Okay, we're mixing apples and oranges though, okay?
It abuts the wetlands, no.
Okay, I think you've heard the opinion of the commission that it is a major change and therefore they would not entertain an amendment to this order of conditions.
Okay. So I guess at this point, is there additional information that can be provided to move that decision?
Well, you would
Would
need
have
to
to-
provide, you would need to do a full notice of intent. And
Yep.
as Phil warned the contractor, the commission is not likely to approve that amount of incursion within a 50-foot buffer and the amount of construction and right up to the edge of the 50-foot. So consider that as you're preparing the plan.
Okay.
And I know that Phil Dromey told me he had that conversation prior to this being submitted.
Okay, very good. I can take that and relay the message.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now I gotta go back and there's my agenda. It disappeared off I'm doing the agenda on the phone because I had printed it and I ran home to get to this meeting. And it's still in my brief. Okay, Alvin, are there any other matters that it says any other matters, but does anybody have anything that would fit under 5. Any other matters before the commission?
You know, I just want to go back to this last one again. Has anybody been to that site? I'm just curious about that wetland that was
I
supposedly.
have been to that site a number of times in the past. I mean,
Uh-huh.
was there work out there which created an area for a wetland to establish itself? Yes, there was. It was quite a while ago. So yeah, I don't think it was, I mean, you could go back. Of course, if you go all the way back, he went back to the 2000s. If you go
Mhm.
back to the 50s or the 30s, you might see that whole area was wet
Mhm.
before,
Oh, yeah,
before they reworked it. So
right.
you pick your point of reference, I guess, depending upon what you're trying to bring forward.
We're encroaching on wetlands, and if this one has some value to nature, that number of houses abutting it is, and I feel
Well-
you said it, people are going to encroach on the
Yeah.
wet,
And
on that wetland.
we
yeah.
don't often see water quality search denied. So I'm guessing that
That's the
whoever
question.
reviewed
Yeah.
that
Oh.
thought that was, while it may have been created by some activity, that wetland was performing a function, or else
Mhm.
they would have gotten their water quality cert.
Exactly. And who knows where the water table is? It wouldn't be great for the houses anyway. Be a
Yeah.
house built with sub pumps already in them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
clearly they thought it was a functioning wetland and serving a purpose for water
Right.
quality. That's why they said no,
guess-
they did not want to see it.
Right,
filled in.
because originally they talked about replication, and I think they would, if they didn't feel it was a significant wetland, the replication would have been okay, you know?
There's
Okay.
a lot of relatively small wooded areas in that whole Pine Point neighborhood on the other side of Boston Road, and I'm guessing it must be tied into off of the North Branch or something. So,
Paul, your volume's down.
oh, sorry about that. Wasn't important.
Okay, but it's just not often that we see that happen where the water quality certification is denied. That's what made me take a look at the plans a little closer and talk to Phil, and he had warned the person that the new plan was certainly something the commission would have a lot of questions about because of where the new construction was planned. So are there, Juanita, I think did they vote on, have we met since they voted on all the plans that on the committee for going forward with the funds?
For the funds for,
The committee you serve on for giving the grants from the tax money.
Community Preservation Committee.
right,
Yeah.
the CPA, what about it?
Have we met since they voted? Because they voted them out, right? They were approved by the council, weren't they, or were they not?
You know what, I don't know the end result of what
Okay.
happened.
I thought it was a new round. How
I-
far in are we?
No, there's a new round that just, I actually don't even know, did they go before this? You know what, I have to say, I
I
don't
thought
know.
I read that they went before the council, but I couldn't.
Okay. Yeah, are you, one in particular you're concerned?
No, I was just wondering whether, so you would be into your next round then, I guess, right?
Yeah, the next round, which will be, they will be due in April.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Commissioner Collins, just so I'm clear, within Elaine Circle, are you asking for the petitioner to refile? Is that
Yes,
what Okay.
a new notice of intent.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Mark, how's things with the state? It's been a long time since we've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a few years. Everything's going pretty well. They're talking about changing the regulations, updating the stormwater standards. They just have to finish it and get it approved by the governor, and then let's see what else. We're trying to go all electronic in our filings. So even requests for determinations and determinations can now be done online on EDEP. Things are starting to slow down. This was actually a busy summer, but you guys I just did a file number review for a subdivision in Springfield, last week. And I think I have another one coming up, another subdivision proposed. So you guys will be busy with those.
I don't even know where they're finding the land in Springfield for all these
I know.
subdivisions.
I know, crazy. The big issue I have is with stormwater. You know, doing the proper testing and making sure it works. One of the problems we always find is even if the contractor does a good job with stormwater, getting them to maintain it doesn't always happen, you know?
Yeah, contractors tend to build the nice detention basins and then walk away from them.
Right.
And they're not, and if you don't maintain a detention basin, it doesn't work anymore. It's got to be maintained.
That's right. So things are slowing down now for the most part. I don't know if it's the economy or whatever, but you know, the economy's doing strange things. But
Yeah,
it's
that
it's
is.
nice being back with DEP and I really enjoy what I'm doing and I just want to make sure you guys know that I'm here. If you have any questions, always feel free to call me or email me.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark. And we
Thanks,
get your
and
news-
thanks for
we
keep
get your
sending us
newsletters.
that rider. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I've got to get another newsletter ready to go out.
Mm.
And we've got, as you can see, we've got a couple of new commissioners. So
Do, yep,
any listings for for any workshops or anything too, just make sure that we get those out so that we can, because some of our new commissioners might be interested in them.
yeah, and I can do separate training on the side anyway. I've got plenty of PowerPoints, so I could even come to a meeting one night and train you on basics or anything else you want, you know, whenever you want to meet in person again, or we could even do a Zoom training.
Mark, what is your email?
That actually sounds good, a refresher even, you know, I'm sure
Yeah.
things have changed a little bit.
Francis was asking for your email, Mark.
Oh, mark.stinson@mass.gov. Phil has it, and I'm pretty sure Alvin probably has it too.
Mark Stinson. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So always
Yeah,
feel free
maybe
to
if
call me
it
or,
might be a good chance to get together and just have you come in and give a basic,
Mm.
thing for all the new commissioners, and maybe we can do it in the beginning of December, and then we can go out for a holiday cocktail together. We haven't done that. in a
Sounds
few years
good.
either.
that sounds good. I'll be glad to do that.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Hearing none, then a motion to
Nope.
adjourn. Is in
I'll
order.
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Peter. Thank you, Juanita. Because we're in Zoom, Alvin, you're gonna have to call the roll.
Problem. Commissioner Bongiorno,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Almanis,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Collins.
Yes. Great. Thank you, everybody. Now, you said the 14th, right?
That's correct.
That's good. Silly season will be over.